Good evening, I'm Bret. A special report is again on the road tonight, coming to you live from the Fox News Los Angeles Bureau. California, specifically Hollywood, may be the center of the universe when it comes to opposition to President Donald Trump. We'll talk more about Hollywood versus the president and how that plays in the middle of the country a little bit later. But first, a more serious kind of conflict on the other side of the country. President Trump is sending a direct message to Iran and the rest of the world that he will do what he says he will do. The new administration has hit Iran with new sanctions in response to its ballistic missile testing. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts starts us off tonight from the North Lawn of the White House. Good evening, John.
Bret, good evening to you. Time and time again on the campaign trail across the country, President Trump pledged to hold a hard line against Iran. And today he made good on that promise, ordering his Treasury Department to punish the regime for its weekend missile test.
In the president's only on-camera remarks about the new sanctions today, he rebuked Iran in much the same way a parent would rebuke a petulant child.
They're not behaving.
The Treasury Department today targeted 25 individuals and companies it says have been engaged in terrorist or missile-related activities. Most are from Iran, but some are Chinese, others Lebanese, with ties to Hezbollah. Hey guys. The measure drew praise from House Speaker Paul Ryan in a statement saying, quote, "This swift and decisive response proves that our new administration is serious about holding the Iranian regime accountable for its illicit behavior." Senator Lindsey Graham urged the president not to go it alone.
I would try to rally the world to punish Iran through sanctions. I don't want a war with Iran, but they deserve to be sanctioned.
This morning, President Trump was engaged in his trademark Twitter diplomacy, writing, "Iran is playing with fire. They don't appreciate how kind President Obama was to them. Not me." To which Iran's foreign minister replied, "Iran unmoved by threats as we derive security from our people. We'll never initiate war, but we can only rely on our own means of defense." National Security Advisor Michael Flynn kicked it up a notch this afternoon, poking a finger in the eye of both Iran and the UN in a statement saying the international community has been too tolerant of Iran's bad behavior. The ritual of convening a United Nations Security Council in an emergency meeting and issuing a strong statement is not enough. While Iran was being targeted with financial sanctions, the president was focused on Americans' finances, signing one executive order easing planned restrictions on financial planners, another to roll back regulations implemented after the near economic collapse in 2009. The president's Economic Council director says that measure will free up loan money the banks have been sitting on.
Instead of lending capital into their clients and allowing their clients to grow their businesses and hire people and create jobs, they've been taking those reserves and they've been taking that capital and hoarding it to meet the regulatory requirements and pay for additional regulation.
And there was a gentle warning from the president to Israel on the issue of new settlements. Since President Trump's election, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has gone into development overdrive. Through his press secretary, the former developer urged Israel to take it down a notch.
We don't believe that the existence of current settlements is an impediment to peace, but I think the construction or expansion of existing settlements beyond the current borders is not going to be helpful moving forward.
The president is spending the weekend at the Winter White House at Mar-a-Lago in Florida, and then he will get a first-hand look at America's efforts against terrorism when he drops by SOCOM headquarters at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa on the way back here to Washington on Monday. Bret?
John Roberts live on the North Lawn. John, thank you. Senate Republicans are playing by the rules, but when you control the majority in the Senate, those rules can give you a big advantage. Republicans used that advantage to advance one of President Trump's cabinet nominees to the dismay of helpless